as we wait to see if Clarity Act actually passes in 2026, make no mistake that XRP is ready for all the money, and on top of that, does have clarity without the Clarity Act, right? We know that XRP is not a security, and we're seeing the DTCC start to go live with or without the Clarity Act. They got the no action letter. So XRP's in the clear, the DTCC's in the clear, and we're seeing institutions like Binance and Securitize, which is set to go public here, they're taking part in this tokenization process that is going to bring hundreds of trillions and quadrillions of dollars on chain. And then the flows of liquidity will also equal and tally up to those amounts. But it doesn't happen all at once. And in today's update, we're going to break down where we're at, where we're going, and you're going to see the opportunity for yourself, as I'm not here to give you financial advice, but you'll see why we remain bullish on these assets that solve real use cases and utility. Taiwan figured it out, passes a law establishing regulatory framework for crypto while we wait for the DC dance to conclude. Securitize has been at the front of the tokenization effort, and they have just completed their business combination with Cantor Equity Partners. They will be going live July 2nd on the New York Stock Exchange under the ticker SECZ. A defining moment for us and the future of tokenization. It is happening now. And there's multiple initiatives, multiple blockchains, right? We're all working on this together. Binance stock trading surpasses 1 billion in assets under management in 30 days after launch. Now, just to show you guys how big, we're talking all the money. We're at zero right now, and we're going to all the money. Is it all coming to the XRP ledger? No, we don't need it to. Just a piece of the action, we'll be having a party. But here is how big these markets are. And this image was actually taken from years ago. This will actually grow larger. And the data points right here, debt market over 100 trillion, stock market over 100 trillion, global real estate over 300 trillion, derivatives, you're talking quadrillions, gold 16 trillion. We actually know the market cap of gold actually went over 30 trillion. So this is outdated, but just to represent where this goes. We have done nothing yet. Binance is touting 1 billion in assets under management 30 days after launch. We're at zero and we just took off. Like the race just started. And this is not a sprint. It is a marathon. But make no mistake, it absolutely is a race. Is your blockchain ready? Do you have the right developers and team that are building on that blockchain that can help the folks in TradFi, in the banks and the institutions that need their hand held? Do you have a team that's ready to do that? And this is really what Ripple has spearheaded on the XRP ledger. But Ripple's not the only ones developing on the XRP ledger, which is what makes this even great, even better, is we look at the developers which can now get paid. A big problem is our developers, there wasn't much programmability. We didn't have smart contracts. So there wasn't even that much to do on the XRP ledger. What the batch amendment will do is fix that. It increases the amount of programmability on the XRP ledger, and it will allow for the service providers, the app developers, the toolkit builders to get paid. Now, I thought this was a perfect tweet right here from Charu San. XRP investors who engage in the stablecoin versus XRP debate and remain oblivious to many things might just brush off XLS 56 as merely a software update for developers. However, when we look at the liquidity, network theory, and institutional mathematics aspect of it, this update triggers a very powerful mechanism that will push XRP's price floor higher. You better believe it. For institutional money, secure pipelines means a secure highway. Thanks to batch processing, if even a single transaction fails, the money doesn't get stuck and it is returned to the wallet in a split second. It removes all technical and institutional barriers preventing XRP from being used as a global bridge asset. By enabling institutions to enter the network safely, it expands the transaction volume, the water flow. This ease of transaction and the tamper-proof secure structure will encourage institutional investors to keep their funds locked in XRP Ledger liquidity pools for yield and returns. Are you ready to start making that passive income right on the XRP Ledger and become your own bank? Not just an idea, not just a meme or a narrative, actually getting, I would say, checks in the mail, but this will be little drips, little flows to your XRP wallet. As the amount of XRP locked in the pools increases, the effective available supply freely circulating in the market will rapidly shrink. VET expands on what this provides. For the first time in XRP history, you can have native transaction dependency logic in bulk. What does this mean? Sustainability, service and app monetization for the whole ecosystem. See, we won't just have a bunch of developers that are sitting here with their hand out waiting for Ripple to give them a grant. They can build their app and then monetize it and get paid. So important for our ecosystem here. We don't want it to be all on Ripple's shoulders as far as the development, as far as running infrastructure, as far as testing amendments, as far as building out apps and tools and services. It can't all be on Ripple. And let's help our developers get paid. Gosh, I'd love to invest in some of these developers too. My website, my email is open. If you're building on the XRP Ledger, let's have a conversation. Composability with other features is in high demand. You can design a perfect business flow with Batch, and new capabilities like peer-to-peer trustless swaps of assets with the DEX is a very crucial feature. Think of RuneScape trading as an example. But we need to make something very clear. The XRP Ledger is ready for the tokenization of stocks, the tokenization of bonds, the tokenization of stablecoins, of CBDCs, all of it. All of the money. The XRP Ledger is ready today. But the programmability and the features that we're getting now expand the capabilities. More assets coming to the XRP Ledger is also bullish. We just saw the stablecoin announcement yesterday. oUSD from the Open Standard Foundation. This is another USD-based stablecoin that will be issued across many blockchains. What does it mean for XRP, though? Since Ripple is involved, you'll likely see them push for an issuance of said token on the XRP Ledger as well. The issuance of tokens is easy, but how to make use of them? Well, first off, we have the XRP Ledger decentralized exchange with new order book pairs and new AMM pool pairs as well. And then the XRP Ledger lending protocol is in the pipeline. Oh boy, are we excited for this one. Borrowing against it, lending for yield. And then finally, you also have it for payments and shopping. But how is XRP involved in any of this? Because the haters, the naysayers, the fudders, the people that just make up lies about XRP, they're saying that oUSD replaces XRP. They're saying that Ripple is abandoning it. Now they're doing the open standard coin. We hear the same story every bear market, right? Every transaction, though, on the XRP blockchain burns fees in XRP. Every account holding, and he points out right here, every account, whether it's a person, a robot, an alien, an AI agent that's holding oUSD on their account needs to lock up XRP for the incremental reserve. It's only one XRP now, but imagine, right? If XRP goes up to much higher prices, we're talking about, significant value that'll be parked on the chain just in the reserves. New AMM pools and order book pairs will emerge, and this is where XRP really kicks in. XRP and is going to be paired up with oUSD. It'll also be paired up with ROUSD. That's the number one pairing right now on the XRP ledger. And then you'll also have direct pairing between ROUSD and oUSD. But to improve conversion rates, XRP will be used via auto bridging to close the liquidity gap between oUSD and the long tail of assets that already exist. So let me make that very clear for everybody. Even in certain pairings like ROUSD and oUSD, which otherwise would only burn XRP in that transaction or swap, because of the auto bridging feature on the XRP Ledger DEX, sometimes the best route, the best trade, the XRP Ledger will automatically send you through the smart order routing process. And it could take it to XRP and then to your other stablecoin. Instead of going from ROUSD to oUSD directly, It'll take you ROUSD to XRP and XRP to oUSD. It'll function as the bridge currency on the XRP ledger if that's the most efficient and best pairing and best route for your trade or swap on the XRP ledger DEX. I hope that these terms are something that you're getting familiar with. I try to break this down and make it simple for everybody to understand. The simple answer is ROUSD replacing XRP? No, it's not possible. It's not possible. And the creators of the XRP ledger were prepared for this back in 2012 when they started up this whole original concept behind the XRP ledger. The reason it allows anyone to issue stablecoins and has a built-in DEX was because they thought every bank would want to issue its own stablecoin. And we've seen that. At the time, the banks didn't. But it seems that the XRP ledger was 15 years ahead of the trend. Now you have all these banks and institutions getting together to collaborate on stablecoins. But you also have JPM coin and individual deposit tokens. And we're going to have equities, bonds, real estate, debt, a full credit on-chain credit market on the XRP ledger. We have fuzzy wuzzy penguin NFTs and meme coins too. All of it burns XRP. All of it locks up XRP. And XRP in almost every instant provides the best pairing. And so the auto bridging process takes all of the liquidity through the XRP ledger. Now, do we get all of the money? No. Do we need all of the money? No. Would that be fun? Because we'd be talking about XRP at $50,000 per coin? Sure. I don't anticipate that happening. I'm not banking on that. But I do believe we are just taking off. We're just past zero. And we're going somewhere between 0 and quadrillions. Do we get trillions on chain? Do we get hundreds of trillions on chain? Is the flow of liquidity 16 trillion per year, which is what Ripple settled last year? Ripple actually cleared 16 trillion between their payments and their subsidiaries, that they acquired. That's 16 trillion that's already controlled by Ripple. Do they bring all of that to the XRP ledger? Even if they brought just a piece of that to the XRP ledger, what price of XRP are we talking about here? And this is where I started to say here that the math, the opportunity gap is really starting to be quantifiable, where we can have hard numbers to insert as variables in our equation for trying to come up with XRP valuation models. And the discrepancy between today's market price and the fundamental value, that's a big opportunity gap as well. So let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. If you guys are looking for a place to get your retirement funds into digital assets, this is why we partnered up with my sponsor, iTrust Capital. They have the IRA product for your tax-advantaged IRA, or if you want to do the Roth IRA, you can be building those gains completely tax-free. We pair that up with the premium custody account for institutional grade custody that is completely free and the US-based award-winning support. And then they also have added the treasury accounts for your LLC, your business, and your trust. And if you want to pair up the legal and estate planning work that we have linked up down below, that can get your house in order. We pair that up with iTrust Capital, and you start to have all of the tools and resources here to build real wealth in digital assets. Yeah, we're in the middle of the bear market. The bull run's coming back. The liquidity's coming back. As I said in the update yesterday, the tide's gone out. But just like we observe in nature, that tide's going to come back in. Let's ride the wave together. Make sure you guys have subscribed, hit that notification bell, and please help us out by liking and hyping up this video before you move on to the next one. God bless.